Hello friends, welcome to my channel, a channel for learning simple coding. If you find this video to be helpful, please like, share and subscribe my channel. In previous video, we have learned about cookies, reading and writing cookies information in Next.js. Now in this video, we are going to understand the role of middleware in route handler. So middleware is not a normal concept, it's an advanced one, and for understanding this, you should have a knowledge of full stack development also. If you have a knowledge of Node.js, then it is a +1 to understand this. But we are trying to understand here in this video each and every concept of middleware and what is the role of middleware in route handler in Next.js that we are going to understand. So first of all, we have to understand the definition of this. So remember that this definition written by me to understand, to make you clear what is the middleware. So middleware is a special route handler. It's like a route handler, a special route handler that filter or restrict user requests to the normal route handlers. Remember that we understand this with the help of a special diagram. So here I say MS Paint, and from this diagram we are going to understand this. Here we have a client and here we have the server like this. So we just put here client and here we put server. Try to understand this. Then this client make request to the server like this, and this request is request by URL or routes. Remember that with the help of routes or URL you make a request, then this server responds to the client. This is also with the help of response by URL. Some URL sent by the server to the client. Now, if you want to identify or filter or restrict the request of a user to the server, then you can check the URL here. So you can check your URL here. Suppose you put some restriction here, and here in this URL pipeline, before information reach to the server, I add here middleware. Remember that I had here middleware. So this middleware will read all the information of the URL or request. Then remember that it send response to the server. So remember that this line is cut. This line is cut from client to server. Remember that. Means now each and every request which you are putting to the server, that request is going to the middleware first. Then middleware is checking that information is valid or it is according to the requirement of the application. Then it's sent to the server. For example, you want each and every URL should be accessed whenever user is login. So with the help of middleware, you can check whether client is logged or not. If it is not login, then with the help of middleware, you can redirect. Remember that from this middleware, you can give direct response to client that you can't reach to this request, it is insufficient because you are not logged in. So here also this middleware will work like a route handler. That's why I'm saying that as a special route handler that read each and every request from the client. If you put it as a middleware, and you can set this middleware on all the URL also, on a special URL also, that depend on you. So this middleware work as a special route handler and it responds behalf of server to the client. If request is not fulfilled or if request is not as per the requirement. For example, user is not logged in. The middleware will check that this user is not logged in. That will send back to client that please log in first. If it is login and checked by the middleware, then middleware will give response to server. Remember that server is not aware that this request is coming by the client or coming by the middleware. Remember that server is not aware. Server is only thinking that request is coming by the client. But this is the magic of the middleware, that it controlling each and every execution of client with the help of some logic that you will put in a middleware. So that is middleware concept. I think you understand now how to create middleware in Next.js. So we have to create these file. If you are using JavaScript, then middleware.js. If you are using Typescript, then middleware.ts. Then we will learn also how to redirect a route to a specific route in middleware and how to use a matcher to fit the middleware on a specific route. So for that we go there. Remember that we have to create a file in the root directory of app folder. Once again I am repeating, we have to create a middleware.js or ts file in the root directory or parent directory of app folder. So in this application we are using src folder. That's why the root directory of app is src. So I click on src and here I create a file. I say middleware.ts because I'm using TypeScript. If you are using JavaScript, then you can use middleware.js. Here I create a function. I say middleware. And this middleware is just like a normal route. Here it use request also like this from next request, like we do coding in route handler, we do it here also. Then I export this like we export get and post. So I say middleware here like this. So this middleware is ready now. We have to write some code. So remember that middleware is ready. Now if I go to application, then I remove this and open my application. Yeah, this is running now, but execution is very delay because of this middleware, because we have put the middleware here. You see, execution is delay right now because the information going to the middleware first, then going to the route handler. So here I want to put some restrictions that if somebody is opening these pages, it should log in first. That I want to decide in this application. So how I can do this, because I'm doing a virtual login, this virtual restriction. So for that, in the web route here we have, here I create one route that is called login. So I create here login, and here I create one file. I say page.tsx. I say RAFCE like this. So this login is ready, and here I say login here. Remember that it's a dummy one. Just I want to show to you that, and here I can put some Tailwind CSS also. So here I say font weight, or I say text to Excel #1, and I say here font bold like this. And if I go here and if I type here login, you see login here. So I want this page should come first for login. Then if I valid from here, then we should open these pages on this website. That I want to restrict. For that I want to filter my each and every URL by this middleware. Remember that. So we make a coding, and I say here that first of all each page should go to the login page. If I click here, then go to login. If I click here, then go to login. If I click here, go to login. That I want to validate. For that, what I can do, I say here if request dot next URL. Remember that next URL dot path name, whatever the URL I'm saying here, if it is not equal to login. Remember that. If it is not equal to user login, if it is not equal to user login like this, if it is not there, then we will redirect it to, so I say return next response like this to redirect, and we are redirecting to new URL, and under this URL I pass that I want to forward it to user login. And what URL I want to forward? I want to forward request.url. This URL which is coming from there, that I want to forward to this. Remember that. So this is the request next URL. We are checking the next URL coming. If it is not this, then go to this. Means if it is user login, then leave it. Otherwise, we have to send to this. Now try to execute this page. Suppose I call dashboard. You see login here is coming. If I click on image, again login is coming. If I click on student, again this page is coming. If I say about, then again this page is coming. You see that each and every page now restricted and filter or validate by middleware. Just by putting this, that if this is not this URL, then send it to this one. Now, suppose I want to filter that somebody is login, so I can make a dummy login here. So for that, suppose I say const, I say search params like this equal to new URL, and I pass here request.url. Remember that. So with the help of this, I want to create the login information. So I say user login equal to search param dot get, and here I say username, I say user. Remember that I'm reading, and here I'm saying that if already is there, if I say username user login is equal to admin. Remember that if it is admin and then request is not for user login, then we go to this. Remember that if this request is not admin, we do this. If login is not admin, then we redirect, otherwise not. Else, you can say else here. we can say return next response dot next. Remember that we can forward it to next, means usually you do whatever you want, but if you are not having this user login, means this user attribute is not there in a URL, and this is not a admin also, then this is not a user login, means you are not executing user login, then forward to this, otherwise you can run your application as usual as you want. Remember that this is fit on each and every URL right now. So you see that now if I run it, then we will have some kind of problem. You see this kind of problem we have, because on this situation, if I click on each and every page, we will have the login problem, but the CSS would not work. Now to enable this CSS, we can use here matcher. So I say export config port const config equal to, here I say matcher. Remember that this matcher I need here. This is the matcher that we required, and under this matcher I need to pass the information. So I create here, I can create array also like this, or I can do without array. So here I put this one dot star. First of all I say this one because I want to check the information, and I say question mark and this one, then I say underscore next slash static and next slash image and this dollar. I think this kind of information we have to add, and I save this and try to check once again if it is okay. No, it refusing information because we have some problem right now. So once again I put one more bracket like this. Now we have to put this slash also because it's a URL. All the URL with this is valid. So we have put this like this. Once again I have to start the application because application close if you do some mistake in middleware. You see, now this is CSS is working. Remember that you have to write this kind of information. It's little bit difficult, but you have to understand that you have to specify here root. Under root you have to give double parenthesis. Under this parenthesis you have to write this condition, this one optional. So for that we have to put question mark and this exclamation symbol. After that we have to provide the information that static page in Next.js and image folder both are allowed here because this is the configuration file for middleware. So by this way we can enable CSS. Remember that with the help of this we can enable Tailwind CSS or other kind of CSS. Now everything is okay. You see, if I click on this, then every time I have login here because it would not allow to log in without this attribute. So this attribute you can put with the help of some interface also. Suppose you are having a form, so with the help of form you can pass this URL. You see image is running, I think. Yeah, this is running right now. So I think I have some error also. Login here on home is running, but on dashboard everything is okay. So we see this also because I have put it this next here. So if condition is false, I say if it is not equal to user login not equal to, I just remove this one because of this it is showing I think some problem. So I think there's some problem here also in matcher. So I try to restrict this matcher like this, try to do this type of thing also. Now once again I try to execute it. Yeah, now it is working properly. You see, this time is working. So there was a mistake in this coding. You have to put here dot star like this also. This is some confusing code. So I miss out here. So you have to write this instruction that you have to pass the CSS, but you have to check allow all the URL, means you have to implement this on all the URLs. Remember that, not on a single one. So by default it was working on root page but not working on other page, but I want it should work on all the pages. So now you see all the pages are restricted. Nobody will open until I pass the user information. So suppose I want to go to home and home I want to open, then what I have to do, I have to pass here question mark user admin like this, and you see if I press this then I have a home page. If I click on dashboard and I want to use dashboard also, suppose I say dashboard then user admin, I have to pass this, means this information for authentication I have to pass, then only I would be able to access my page. Remember that here, that how much security this middleware can put on a URL. So this URL, this security is implemented by me here by editing this code. But if you are using front-end application, you can check yourself username and password. You save your username password in cookie or somewhere else. If the information is available, then pass this type of URL to the application. Means do not pass the plain URL to this. If you will pass plain URL, then it would not allow. But if you will pass information like this, or you maybe have some encoded information here, and you can use header also, because in previous video I have explained you header and cookies also. So you can read header also here, dot header, and you can use the header information which you have inserted from the client side for security purpose, because header nobody can read, and you can encrypt your header and you can check yourself that user is login. By any mean you can restrict your URL. Now suppose I want to put this information only for dashboard or student, means if I click on home, no problem should be there. If I click on image, then I should be able to open it. But if I click on dashboard and student information, then it asks the username and password. So you can also restrict by this. So here you have to put comma, and under this you have to write that dashboard. If somebody is asking for dashboard, and then we should check this. Or if you want to open student information is like this, student info. If you want to read student info like this, then you restrict only those. Remember that I save this. So I am restricting only this one, and I am allowing all. Remember that. I click on home here, nothing is coming. I click on dashboard, it would not allow. I click on image, then it is not allowed. So I remove it from here like this. Now I refresh it. I click on image is open. I click on student, this is open. Click on this is open. Click on dashboard, this is not open. Click on home is not open. Dashboard is not open. Image is open. So it is working on dashboard but not working on student info. Dashboard. So I have to check URL also, whether my URL is okay. So I go to navbar is here. So navbar is student, I is capital, student info. So here I say I capital like this. Save this. Now I go to this and I click on student info. So you see login here is coming, student info also, on dashboard also, but image is open, about is open, problem is on home also. So we say here problem is on home also. So I should see that also, star. Then I try to click on dashboard, image is also validate, because all will validate this also. So I have to remove this. So I'm making this comment right now, because if I'm using these path, then no need to specify this type of information. It will work perfectly without any problem. So if I refresh it and I click on home, you see home is opening now. If I click on image, then image will open, no problem. If I click on student, then it will go to login. If I click on about, then everything is okay. If I click on dashboard, then it go to login. Remember that, because it restricting each and every URL. This one, if I put here this also, so it restricting each and every URL, but I'm not going to restrict each and every URL. I want to restrict only for these two URL. So this is okay now. So remember that we have run this middleware on these two URL only. Now if I provide user admin, then it will run. So suppose I am going to dashboard, and on dashboard I want to open. So I say dashboard user equal to admin. You see dashboard is open. If I go to student info, and here I say student info user equal to admin, then it will open. You see this is open without any problem. So these two URL is restricted by me by using middleware. So you can convert your URL like this to access this, and you would be able to access these URL. Remember that this mechanism for authentication may be anything. It's a simple setting I am putting here, but you can put some database authentication, JWL authentication. It depends on you what kind of information you want to put. But the result here, the nutshell result here, but in a nutshell, result is here that you can restrict any client request with the help of middleware before reaching to the server. How you can do this, I have explained in this video. Each and every concept of middleware I have explained. Still, if you have any query, comment on this video. I will reply for that. If you understand each and everything, then please like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching this video.